All right, this is the second installment of the Profit Donut Hole. We introduced this in our first video, the donut hole of profit. On this end we have value priced frames. At this end we have high-end expensive frames. So as we move this way towards more expensive frames as far as what we're paying for them, we find that there's a donut hole of profit in the middle, an area where we're not making money as it relates to third party. So on many third-party plans, wholesale type plans, they have a wholesale allowance. They range anywhere on the low end from $50 all the way up to maybe $70. Depends on the plan, depends on your demographic. Frames will be covered under those amounts. Under those amounts, far under those amounts, is the first area of profit. We'll call that the first area of profit. Those are frames you're not paying much money for. If you're not paying much money for them, you should be making money on them, right? You should have good margins. You should be buying value eyewear. That's the purpose of value eyewear. It's the stuff that's covered way at the low end. That's its purpose. That's its plan. In the middle here, though, we have another problem. Some of these are covered. Some of them aren't. So we end up with a range depending on the plans. We don't have just one insurance plan walk in the door. We have 5 or 6 different insurance plans walk in the door. They have different wholesale allowances, an amount of wholesale that company wants to be covered at any office that patient walks into. And so that is that wholesale allowance, and often called a wholesale frame allowance. They want that to be covered regardless of your markup strategy. Whether you mark up 3 times, 4 times, they want it to be covered when that patient comes into your office. And so as a result, this little range here is a donut hole. This second area, sometimes it's profitable, sometimes it's not. Depends on who walks in the door, who buys the frame, what the plan was, how much you paid for it, how much it's in the frame facts for. So we don't know if we have profit on that or not. So we have to be strategic in that category. We have to look at the plans that are in our area. Maybe we can eliminate some of them and do a little better. But all in all, it's best to just make sure secure yourself a good vendor discount in that category. Make sure that you're dealing with the right vendor in that category. Then the third area, non-covered frames. Area number 3. Non-covered frames, everybody says they're always profitable. We mark them up, we get our money. It's not always true. You're going to want to see the third episode and find out why. Sometimes you got a good frame there, you got it marked up really well. Maybe you paid $100 for it, you multiply it times 3, you sold it for $300, you believe you made $200 profit. Not always true, and we'll deal with that in the third installment of the Profit Donut Hole. Key thing to remember here, most of us carry thousands of these frames. In this price range, we love those frames. Our patients love those frames. Those are the ones they want to pick. Those are the ones they want to wear. They have the quality they want. They're at the price they want to pay. All the research says these are the ones they're buying. All the research says these are what are selling the best in practices around the country. But they're in that profit donut hole, so we have to be careful. We want these frames. They're some of the most profitable frames on our private pay patients. They're some of the most profitable frames on certain insurances, but on about 60% of the plans, they're not. So we need to be a little strategic in that area. Strategic how we buy. I've got a little formula I go through, a little software program that I wrote, and then make sure that we're getting a good discount from a company that's going to stand behind them. They're going to warranty them. They're going to exchange them. They're going to do everything you need to do so you're not having extra expense on top of that. Once you take one of these frames and have to warranty it and you don't get all your money back, or you pay shipping twice and all of that, you might be in the no profit zone again. So we have to be careful in that middle zone as to whether or not we're making profit. Thanks again.